Twiggity, so how do you do, guys? This is Powerhouse Pancho, and I'm back again, guys, with another episode of Pokemon Showdown sessions. Before I go any further though, guys, if you'd like to leave a like, comment, or even subscribe to the channel, all would be appreciated, and that would be pretty awesome, guys, but only do it if you want to and if you enjoyed the content. So anyway, we are actually moving on to the same team as before in our last episode, which consisted of Mega Venusaur, which also had a bit of sand with it, which was Tyranitar, Excadrill, Sylveon, Rotom and Thundurus. So this team's been doing okay for us. I think so far it's picked up 2 wins and 1 loss, which isn't an average I like to stay at. I like to stay at something like 3 wins and 1 loss, but we can see what we can do for today, and hopefully we can actually win a few games. So we are actually going to be doing 3 games today, as we come up against a very interesting team consisting of Kangaskhan, Thundurus, Landorus, Conkeldurr, Aegislash and Milotic. So a very cool team on my opponent's behalf, and obviously we can see that this Conkeldurr, it might be a little bit of a problem. Hence is why we need to conserve our Sylveon and try to work our way through Aegislash and whatnot. So immediate leads I can definitely see with our team. It's definitely something like Thundurus and Rotom, or I mean Rotom and Venusaur. The reason for this is because they can actually just bulk anything out my opponent wants to bring, unless it's the Kangaskhan, of course, which is where we'll have a bit of trouble, but we can then start Thunderbolting and Thunderwaving with Thundurus. So I actually want to open up with Thundurus and our Venusaur. Rotom would be good here, but I'm not sure if I'll bring it. You know what, no, I will bring it, and I'll bring the Sylveon as well, just to deal with the Conkeldurr, and also just to spam Hyper Voice onto Kangaskhan, Thundurus, Landorus, and then even can Shadow Ball the Aegislash. It does have the Pixie Plate though, so it will not actually get the bonus from Hyper Voice, which is the only downside to it. So hopefully we can pick up a battle, and we are actually going to start the timer now. You might be able to notice that we don't actually have a background. Basically, I downloaded a background, and for some reason it wasn't working too well, and it was just all over the place. So I'm just going to leave it for the time being. So my opponent does actually open up with Kangaskhan and Conkeldurr, which is a very nice lead, and straight away I feel very, very threatened with Thundurus, because he's probably going to protect from Venusaur. So what I'm going to do straight away is actually switch on to Rotom, as well as Mega Evolve, and actually go for the Sludge Bomb onto the Conkeldurr, hopefully not getting poisoned, just in case if it does activate its Guts ability. So we do Mega Evolve, of course. He does fake out Rotom. Is he going to go for an Ice Punch? We'll find out in a second, as we do get a Sludge Bomb off, as he actually does double up into Rotom, as I predicted. Which probably was the correct play by our opponent, but since Thundurus isn't that bulky, we do want to try and keep it around for as long as possible. So, now we're in the dilemma of, does he want to double up into our Rotom, and I think the answer to this is probably yes. I'm actually going to protect this turn. He wants to double up because it's causing us the most problem. Or it might not hurt us to actually double protect, but I'm actually just going to Sludge Bomb this and Conkeldurr once again. He does go for the Mach Punch, and he actually goes for the double into Rotom, which was, you know, the correct play by my opponent maybe. We do actually snag the poison, which activates the Citrus Berry. This could be a bit of a problem. Okay, this could be a bit of a problem. So what we're going to do this turn is, I definitely want to keep Rotom around. And now that this Conkeldurr probably isn't going to be around for much longer, I am actually going to switch out into Sylveon. And I am actually just going to get the Leech Seed onto Kangaskhan. Yep, I'm going to go for that play. So he goes for the Mach Punch, which was the correct play, as he goes for a turn, and it does actually take out Sylveon, unfortunately. But that was the risk we had to take, as Kangaskhan was a bit of a problem. So here we're going to actually switch out into our Thundurus, which is going to do us a lot of good, because here we can actually Thunderbolt into the Kangaskhan, as well as Sludge Bomb into it. This should actually take it out, because Thundurus is actually very offensive with the Life Orb, of course, which means that Thunderbolt and Sludge Bomb should hopefully take it out. If we lose Thundurus in the process, that doesn't matter, because I think with the combination of Rotom and Venusaur, we could actually win the game, but it all depends if our opponent does have that Aegislash in the back, which actually wouldn't be a bad idea. So we just gotta be a bit careful of this. Maybe he will switch out that Conkeldurr just to save the Mach Punch for another time, but it is poisoned, and it isn't going to be around for much longer. So we're just going to have to see what my opponent is going to do here. We have got the Leech Seed up onto the Kangaroo, which is nice. He does Mach Punch, which was a good play by my opponent. Okay, so he's just going to take us out there, which is fine by me, as we do get the Sludge Bomb onto the Kangaskhan, and we actually take out both Kangaskhan and the Conkeldurr, which is really good for us. The only problem with this team is that the bulkiness isn't really there, as he does actually have... Oh, so he does have that Aegislash, which probably is going to lose us the game, unfortunately. So what I'm going to do anyway this turn is Hydro Pump it, and I'm actually going to Leech Seed it as well. Wow, physical Thunderous. Nice. I did not see that coming. Life for Aegislash as well. Wow. I'm not sure what I think of that. Here I'm going to Hydro Pump as well as Sludge Bomb onto the Thunderous. Sky Drop, you know, isn't something I expected. He does obviously... Oh, wow, that does nothing. Okay. So we do get the Sludge Bomb off, which actually does a bit of damage. Right, what are we going to do this turn? Right. This time we're going to protect with Rotom just to conserve it, because he obviously sees this as the biggest threat at the moment. And we are actually going to Leech Seed the Aegislash just to try to take away as much HP as possible away from it. He actually Thunder Punches Rotom. This is kind of scary. But we do get the Leech Seed off, which is good, I guess. So here what we're going to do is that we're actually going to Hydro Pump the Aegis. In fact, no, we're going to Thunderbolt the Aegislash and actually Sludge Bomb the... Okay, so he just takes us out, which was a good play. Wow. In fact, what could we have won there? I don't think we could have won there, because if Giga Drain... We probably could have if the Giga Drain did take out the Aegislash. Okay, yeah, fair enough. So we could have won there, but I'm not sure how close it would have been. Maybe bringing Sand was the right option there, but we didn't, unfortunately. So we have actually got to, you know, we got to learn how to play with this team a bit better. Why is the music stopped? Oh, sorry guys. Okay, yeah, sorry about that the music stopped. So we do come up against a very interesting team consisting of Crobat, Aegislash, Lopunny, Zapdos, Landorus Fairy Form, and my Lote. So a very cool team. The only problem is that this Aegislash might be a bit of a problem, but I think we can work our way around it. And that really tempts me to leave with our Venusaur once again. And I actually want to lead with Landorus as well, just because it puts so much pressure onto my opponent. However, Sylveon is also making a case for itself, and so is Thunderous. So I'm going to open up with Venusaur and Thunderous instead, actually. These two just put on a lot of pressure. Thunderbolt can do a lot of damage to my Lote, Zapdos, Lopunny even the Aegislash and Crobat, and Hidden Power Ice can do a lot of damage to the Landorus from our Thunderous. Hidden Power Ice should actually take it out, and Venusaur is just there for general bulk. We're going to have Excadrill in the back as well as Tyranitar, so we are bringing the Sand mode just for today, just to see how it does do. So our opponent does actually open up with the Crobat and the Landorus, which is fine by me. Right. So straight away I can see like Thunderous is obviously a big threat to my opponent. So what I'm going to do this turn is that I'm actually going to Giga Drain the Landorus, as well as would we do better with Thunderbolting or Thunder Waving? You know what, I'm actually going to go for a Thunderbolt onto Crobat, because so we Brave Bird straight away. Does a lot of damage actually. We do get a Thunderbolt off, which means this Landorus isn't actually Scarf, which obviously means it must be banded then. Oh no, it might not be banded either. So that's a really good turn for us, because we've got a lot of damage off onto this Landorus, and we've also taken out the Crobat turn 1, as although both our Pokemon are quite heavily damaged, we've still done a lot of damage, and yeah. So we're in a really good position. Hidden Power Ice from this range will most definitely take out the Landorus, unless it is really specially defensive with an Assault Vest, but I cannot actually see that. I still can't see it surviving. So we actually switches in Zapdos here, which is fine by me. This means that Excadrill and Tyranitar are going to have a lot of fun here. So what I'm actually going to do is that I'm actually going to Leech Seed the Zapdos, as well as Hidden Power Ice the Landorus. Yep, I'm going to... Right, so we do take it out with Hidden Power, which is really good for us. He goes for a Heat Wave, which actually doesn't take out Venusaur, which is incredible. That's just a testament to how bulky it is. So Heatwave has done a real good job here, as we're actually going to send in our Tyranitar next against the Aegislash. So this is really good for us. This turn I'm just going to Protect just to get some more Leech Seed damage off. And I'm very tempted just to go for the Rock Slide. Should we go for that play? Yeah, I'm going to go for a Rock Slide. So we are going to get a Rock Slide off. It does a lot of damage to the Zapdos. Look how much it does. We flinch the Zapdos. We don't flinch the Aegislash, which is good because I didn't actually want to flinch both his Pokemon. I'm just going to apologise to our opponent for that here. Because I'm not sure if Tyranitar would have gone down there, but you know what, you never know. This turn we are actually just going to Leech Seed the Aegislash as well as to go for another Rock Slide, because although it is going to King Shield here, we are still going to get our Leech Seed off, and we are actually going to be recovering a bit each turn, which is really good for us, although Sandstorm is slowly wearing us down as well. So this turn we are actually just going to Giga Drain as well as switch out into Excadrill. The reason I'm going to switch out into Excadrill here for our Tyranitar is just so we can actually then choice ourselves into Crunch the next turn. And also Flash Cannon isn't super effective against us, it is in fact resisted. So this is really good for us, and I think we have actually won this game. So what we're going to do this turn is Giga Drain as well as actually go for a Drill Run onto the Aegislash. So we do get a crit, which obviously didn't matter because Blade Form Aegislash has abysmal defenses, as we do actually move up to a 1467 rating. So that was a good game for our opponent. He did have some pretty cool Pokemon, including that Lopunny and that Milotic, but I think he should have conserved some of his Pokemon around for a bit longer. So we are actually going to hop into one more battle for today, as we come up against a very cool team consisting of Gardevoir, Suicune, Infernape, Breloom, Landorus and Aegislash. So we can definitely see that this has some form of Tailwind in the within the Suicune here. So that's really good, and straight away I definitely can see my opponent opening up with that Infernape. So what do we want to do? I really think Rotom and Sylveon is a decent lead here. I don't think I want to bring Venusaur just because it can't do much to the although it can hit the Breloom and the Suicune for super effective damage, Gardevoir, Infernape and Landorus and even Aegislash all threaten it really nicely, so I don't think that's a good call for us to bring it. However, I think Thundurus can make a case for itself, and so can Tyranitar. So, you know what, I'm actually going to open up Rotom and Thundurus, and I'm actually going to bring Sylveon, and do we want to bring Tyranitar? Probably not, to be honest. I want to bring Excadrill instead, just because of that focus attack, as my opponent actually opens up with Landorus and Suicune. Very good lead by my opponent, but I think we actually still have the advantage here, because this turn we can Will-O-Wisp the Landorus, as well as Thunderbolt the Suicune. The reason I want to Thunderbolt the Suicune is to try and get as much damage off as possible. If we burn the Landorus, that neutralizes it for the rest of the game, and that's a big threat to Excadrill out of the way, which I think is really important for our matchup to win. I know we could easily go for a Hydro Pump and get a lot of damage off. He does actually go for U-Turn, which was a good play, as he brings out Aegislash, which was also a good play. Thunderbolt does a ton of damage here, as we do get a Will-O-Wisp onto Aegislash, as he actually goes for a Snarl, misses the Rotom Wash, but does actually connect with Thundurus, which you know, could actually could actually be quite harmful for our opponent. Either way, I'm still going to go for a Hydro Pump here onto the Aegislash, as well as a Thunderbolt onto the Suicune. No, in fact, I'm going to go for a Thunderbolt onto the Suicune and taunt the Aegislash, just to stop it to going back into Blade form, and this would actually cause my opponent to switch out if he feels threatened enough, because this Aegislash is a essential Pokemon for winning, and hopefully it is physical, but I very much doubt it because most Aegislash nowadays are special. So let's see if we can actually win the game. Big problems to this team is definitely at Gardevoir. I don't think we have many good ways of dealing with it. Yeah, we do have Excadrill, but if Excadrill goes down to something like a Breloom, Suicune even, like, he has built a very strong team here, and I do actually like it. I think instead of the Infernape, you could run something like Blaziken, but you know what, if that worked for him then fair enough, because I really like this team and that's what my opponent is going to do here. we haven't actually started the timer yet, which is something I do actually want to start. Yeah, so we are going to start the timer here. We are actually 15 minutes into this session, so this will be our last game. As he switches out into Landers, very good play by my opponent. We do get the taunt off onto Aegislash, and obviously we Thunderbolt into nothing. He does actually Shadow Ball Rotom. He does get the special defense drop, which is a bit annoying, but we can deal with it. Okay, so what do I want to do this turn? I want to Hydro Pump the Landorus. And I actually want to switch out into Excadrill just to conserve our Thundurus. He does switch out Aegislash into... okay, so he goes for a Rock Slide there, which is fine by me. He does proper Citrus Berry. We get the Hydro Pump off, and it does a ton of damage. Wow. Right, so here I actually want to protect. You know what? No, there's no reason to protect. What I'm gonna do here is Thunderbolt the Suicune, and actually go for a Drill Run onto it. Just because Drill Run is neutral and it does do a lot of damage. You might be asking me why am I running Drill Run on my Excadrill, and the reason for this is wow, Drill Run doesn't take out. Luckily Thunderbolt does. You might be asking me why am I running Drill Run on Excadrill instead of Earthquake. The reason for this is because Earthquake can always hit my own Tyranitar for super effective damage, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm running Drill Run instead, just so we do actually hit, so we can actually use an Earth type move without actually having to hit our own Pokemon, which I thought was a really good idea. But Earthquake does have a higher base power, and it does have 100% accuracy, but I'm just going to see what Drill Run does for the time being. You never know, I might change it, but I think Excadrill is such a cool Pokemon too. I am actually very, very tempted to make this team, but the reason I am holding back a little bit is just because I'm not sure if I like Venusaur that much. It is a nice Pokemon and all, but my style of play isn't it's not really suited to play with, my playstyle isn't really suited to play with Venusaur because it's a very bulky Pokemon, and I think that might be like a bit of a burden for me. Right, so what we're going to do this turn is that we're actually going to Hydro Pump the Landorus once again, and we are actually going to protect Excadrill just to stop any Earthquakes. He goes for a Super Power instead, which, you know what? Oh, we missed Hydro Pump. Are you kidding me? And he gets another special defense drop. Lovely. Okay, we have lost our Sash, which is a bit of a problem. Okay, that's fine. Right. This time we're going to Hydro Pump the Aegislash and switch out into Sylveon instead. Okay, so yeah, that was a good play by my opponent. I could have probably seen that coming, but I didn't, unfortunately. He gets another crit. Like, well, he doesn't get another crit, but he got a crit, which is a bit of a problem. Okay, so what are we going to do this turn? We're going to protect Excadrill and actually go for a Shadow Ball just to stop any Wide Guard from our opponent's Aegislash. Yeah, we're going to go for a Shadow Ball onto the Landorus. The reason I'm doing this is obviously just to stop our opponent actually going for a Wide Guard and stopping us completely from damaging him. So we are actually just going to go for a Shadow Ball onto Landorus. This is a cool Sylveon stat I like as well, with Helping Hand and Protect. I think Sylveon could actually be a really good support Pokemon, and that's why I just want to try it for the time being. This is what Showdown Sessions is all for. Wow, so we actually... Wow, we get a lot of damage off, as he takes out Sylveon, which is fine by me. His Aegislash obviously burns. So this turn we can actually go for an Iron Head onto the Gardevoir. And are we gonna predict him going for a are we gonna predict him to switch into Landorus? I think that might be quite a probable move. Yeah, you know what? I'm actually gonna hit him out Icy Aegislash just to see what he does. He probably is gonna do that just because Drill Run is obviously immune by Landorus, and he probably wants to switch in just to get the Intimidate anyway. So if we actually do call this correctly, we could actually win the game. It all depends what its last Pokemon is, because that could give us a bit of a problem. We can take Gardevoir out and obviously the Landorus if it switches in, then we are actually going to be in a really good winning position, but we're just going to have to see what my opponent brings in, and obviously we need to hope we can win. So, okay, so he switches out the wrong Pokemon. Okay, so he goes into Shield form anyway, so that turn was basically it wasn't wasted because we do actually take out the Landers, which is incredible. Right, he brings in Gardevoir here. It doesn't have Trace, which I'm a bit not worried about, but obviously, you know, that's not as commonly seen. So we're going to go for a Iron Head here. We're going to get the Thunderbolt off onto Aegislash. We are going to take Life Orb Recall, as we do actually land the Iron Head as well, obviously being a 100% accurate move. And we do actually end up winning the game, which was really fun. These battles have been really long, with this episode being 20 minutes long. And yeah, so I'm just going to say thank you to our opponent. Thank you for the match, because that was a fun match. And yeah, so my opponent was a high rating, so you know what, this was fun. Alright, so I think that's going to be it, guys, just for today, because we have actually recorded 3 battles, and you know what, 20 minutes long isn't bad for you guys. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Go check out my other content, and for now, Panchan people, goodbye.